I've been in the hobby for about 31 years and doing it kind of professionally for about 7. And if there was some kind of tragedy where I had to start my miniature painting and wargaming hobby setup from scratch, these are the things that I already have that I know I would instantly buy again. They're all pretty affordable and give massive quality of life improvements for what I do. My name's Guy, you're watching Midwinter Minis, and I'm not going to go into models or paints or brushes or anything like that. This video is about the stuff that complements those things. And no, this video is not sponsored. I have paid for all of these products out of my own pocket. I don't really have any affiliation with any of the companies that make these things. I've just used this stuff for years and I love them to bits. Now, that being said, if you want to pick up any of these things for your own hobby setup, I've left affiliate links in the video description for pretty much everything. And that way you get exactly what you want and the channel gets a little kickback as well. So it's a win-win for both of us. I'm going to kick off the list with the thing I get asked about the most, and that is these little arm lights you see over here. These are just the Mediacus LED desk lamps. They are really cheap for what you get, just 40 quid each. One would be absolutely fine for a smaller space, but I got 2 because I don't just paint, I film videos too. And 2 lets me light a larger area and lets me get a bit more creative with the placement. And honestly, buying 2 is still about half the price of a single big brand hobby light. They don't take up loads of desk space because they clamp onto the edge of your desk, and each lamp has 2 LED strips and has 4 brightness levels that you can cycle through and 4 color temperatures. Really importantly, the lights don't flicker or strobe at lower brightness settings, which is really handy if you're filming or taking photos of your minis. Well, that's important to me, obviously, and that's another reason why I like them. They're also independently articulated, and you can aim each segment in different directions, so very flexible in terms of how you can light stuff. So yeah, these are an absolute no-brainer to buy again if I was going to start my hobby setup from scratch. Staying at the desk just for a second, let me show you the secret little hobby weapon I keep underneath. That's right, it's an under-desk kitchen roll holder. As you can tell by the state of my desk, I'm not the most careful painter or hobbyist, but for times when you need to mop up a spill fast or clean a tool, and you might only have one hand spare, this thing is indispensable. You can whip off a sheet with one hand and sort out your mess, easy peasy. It's also using what is essentially dead space you wouldn't be using anyway to declutter your work surface and keep something really useful within arm's reach. So yeah, an obvious repurchase if I had to start again. I've seen them in shops for about a tenner. This one I got is a bit more heavy duty, but still only costs 13 quid. On the other side of the desk down here, I've got a handy little organizer that is attached to the table edge. The important thing about this one is that it has a hairdryer holder. I use a hairdryer multiple times in every project to help paint dry faster, warm resin to fix warping, and mid-video blowouts. So having somewhere to hang it so that it doesn't get in the way is super useful. The other compartments can also be used for some more commonly used tools that you want to keep nearby. I've got my snips and my dry brushes. Yeah, I've seen these things all over the place, but this exact one is currently 14 quid. An awesome buy if you want to make use of every inch of your desk, and an obvious repurchase if I was setting up a new hobby space. Also, obviously, just get yourself a cheap hairdryer. A little novelty kids one will do absolutely fine. Kind of the gentler the better, to be honest, because that way you won't be blasting any streaks in your drying paint. The last thing on this desk that I would 100% buy again is this 4E's Vortex mixer. Vortex mixers are basically science gear used for thoroughly mixing the contents of test tubes, repurposed for lazy hobbyists to shake their paint pots more effectively. Honestly, the amount of time this thing has saved me is unreal, not to mention the number of pots of paint that it's helped me revive, so an obvious choice for repurchasing. Now, I know this isn't one of the cheaper things on the list, it sells for about 90 quid, but I've had it for about 5 years, used it pretty much every day, and it still works just as well as the day I bought it. There are cheaper options out there, but I've never tried them, so I couldn't recommend them. And going by their reviews, I probably wouldn't want to try them. So yeah, it might be twice the price of other Vortex mixers, but it's at least twice as good. Okay, that's it for the desk stuff. Let me show you this awesome thing behind the door. This is an over-door 24 pocket shoe rack that I have repurposed to hold all of my spray paints, primers and varnishes. It saves a crazy amount of shelf space, and you can actually see what everything is because there's nothing hidden behind other cans. A downside is that the hanger hooks that came with it weren't quite wide enough to fit my door, but it's a solid wood door, so I just popped in some screws to hang it from. Massive plus though for this particular model, each pocket exactly fits 2 cans and has enough distance between the pockets to comfortably fit even the tall 500ml cans. So if you want this particular one, grab it from the link in the description. It's also about a tenner, so yeah, so simple, an obvious choice to kit out a new hobby space. Also, one of the things that I've bought kind of recently that I just can't believe I did without for so long, a simple bed tray or breakfast tray. This will basically let you crack on with some of the more basic hobby stuff that requires less concentration while you chill out and do other things like, assembling models during a Netflix binge. Ideally, you're going to want something that has fold out legs. This will make it more secure on your lap, but also make it easier to pop down on a crowded desk space without the need to clear the whole area for it. Also, a lip around the tray, absolutely essential to stop any bits from slipping off and getting lost in your carpet forever. You can get these from so many places. I got this particular one online for about 15 quid and it's pretty good. Knowing how useful they are, I don't think I could ever go back to not having one, so yeah, this gets the repurchase seal of approval. Here's a cheeky little health and safety tip. Get a sharp spin. It's literally £3. Back in the pre-dad days, I used to keep my dead blades in an empty whiskey bottle next to my desk. Obviously, with twin 3-year-olds running around the house, that would be wildly irresponsible to do now. So yeah, now they just go in this little tub. It has a kind of plastic sphincter to let things go in easy, but catch them before they fall out. Now, even if you don't have kids, having one of these will stop stray blades from tearing your bin liners. So it's £3, just get one. There are so many challenges for storage that hobbyists will face, and I've got 2 pretty good recommendations for you that I would buy again in a heartbeat. First off, for smaller stuff like model parts, spare bits, spare tools, things like that, grab yourself a couple of these double-sided organisers. These are obviously sold as proper trade and DIY tool storage, but they also work so well for nerdy stuff too. They nearly all have removable dividers so you can fit awkwardly sized stuff in them, and they're pretty affordable. My bigger ones cost about 15 quid, I think, and I actually got these 2 small ones from Lidl. It was a while ago, but I have a feeling they're about 6 quid each, so yeah, keep your eye open for good deals. Now, if you need to store larger stuff like board games or the mountains and mountains of unbuilt, unpainted minis you've accumulated over the years, I really like the simplicity and the modularity of these rack shelving systems. They're a bit of a pain to bonk together, but you can either have them standing double height or spread them out if you want some surfaces to put some stuff on too. So this is 2 of them in the corner of my edit room, both built to half height, so essentially 4 low shelving units. Now, each double height rack costs about 40 quid and is super sturdy, so that's 80 quid for everything here, and I've got a simple, effective, industrial looking storage solution that fits practically anything I throw at it. You can also set whatever height of shelf you want by choosing what notches to bonk the shelves into when you're building. Yeah, I'd get these again, 100%. Right, I could go on, but I'll keep this list all killer, no filler, and close on probably my absolute favourite thing, 4 foot by 2 foot MDF boards, or 120 by 60 centimeters. Get 3 of them. Put them on a regular dining table, cover it with a neoprene mat, and bam, make pretty much any normal dining table into a full-sized wargaming table without having to buy yet another item of furniture. And when you're done, they store flat. Stick them under your bed or behind a door or something, and just get them out when you need them. I also find them really useful as a surface for priming loads of models at once, or just protecting a dining table during a big messy project. My boards show the evidence from many past projects, and I feel kind of weirdly attached to them. They've also been the hidden MVP of almost every battle report I've ever filmed on this channel. This is a standard size you can get from most hardware stores. Mine are 6mm thick, which does flex a tiny bit, but they were really cheap when I bought them 6 or 7 years ago. All wood stuff is more expensive now, but it's still far more affordable than buying a dedicated fold-out gaming table. So that's it, I reckon. Again, if you want any of these particular things for your hobby setup, you can find links in the video description, and where possible, I've done my best to find the exact models so you can get exactly what I have. As always, enormous thanks to the channel's incredible Patreon supporters who month after month support the videos we make. And that way the entire hobby community can enjoy what we create and maybe find a little bit of inspiration. And most of all, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye for now.